is right around the corner, and with a new school year comes high school sports. And that includes boys and girls soccer. We've got boys soccer having already concluded the girls game. Played the national anthem before the girls game, so we'll be kicking off here in just a few moments. Hello, everybody, here on ETV. My name is Nathan Cron. I'm joined by my broadcast partner, Skip Newton. Skip, it's another year of Wildcat Soccer. Tonight we host the East Ridge Raptors, a quality program from the eastern side of the Twin Cities, the South Washington School District. And what are we going to see from these Wildcats tonight as we come into this new season?
Well, I think one of the things that we really need to focus on is a lot of change going on for the boys varsity program. Of course, there's a new coach this year in Jose Butelli, and a new system, right? Only playing 3 in the back, a lot of new players. I mean, just like every season, right? You get a lot of graduating seniors, so some new faces to the team and some familiar faces as well, and we'll talk about that kind of as the game goes on. But I think what we need to see from the guys tonight is a hot start, and how quickly are they going to adapt to the new coach with the new system and, playing together. I mean, the high school season is so short, and it comes up so quickly. I mean, it was just a week ago when, teams were formed, and you get a week of practice and a few scrimmages on Saturday morning, and bam, first game, here we go.
Wildcats are going to be moving left to right on your television screen or your streaming screen, wearing the blue uniforms, blue socks with white numbers. And the East Ridge Raptors are going to be in all white with dark numbers. You heard the lineups earlier as this ball gets hoisted down towards the Raptor penalty area. Hackenmuller and Axelrod are your starters. So that's a junior, and Axelrod is a freshman. So a freshman and junior starting in your attacking position. Obviously, Coach Butuli looking for some energy and as you said, Skip, a quick start.
Yeah, and both obviously new starters to the lineup this season. Of course, Hackenmuller was on the team last year as a sophomore, so he's got some experience, which is a good thing to have. But yeah, a little surprise there with the freshman starting. I like it. I mean, that shows that the coach has a lot of faith in players that are ready, and doesn't matter what age they are.
The ball slides out. It was a nice cross, a nice work 1-2 on the near side. I couldn't quite pick up which number that was, but nice work there by the Raptors on the near side. The Raptors last season 11-2-3, losing in the section semifinals. The Wildcat defense now being tested very early. And saved there by Cron. And I like that for a senior goalkeeper who last year was playing behind Isaac Waddell. An excellent senior player for the Wildcats. Hackenmuller sends that in and finds Villasenor. But Cron did not get a lot of minutes last year, so for him to get some touches early in this game and have some comfortable saves, I think would be very, very helpful for him.
Yeah, there's an opportunity for sure for him to be potentially a little bit nervous coming into one of the first starts in his career, and I like that early action. Get him the hands on the ball, a little more comfortable and into the flow of the game, where all of a sudden you forget about the nerves and now you're just playing soccer.
Center referee Josh Hartwell whistling a foul there on the Wildcats. The Raptors will have a free kick.
The Wildcats free kick for East Ridge.
Josh Hartwell moving from the assistant referee position, and Zachary Ali taking his assistant referee position on the far side near the benches.
Moving over to take the kick, Zach Ayers, number 5.
Midfielders Tran Lennertz, Johnson, Prouty, and Villasenor for the Wildcats. Defenders Joseph, Jensen, and Walcaz. Ball comes floating in. Nicely done that time by the Raptors. It's going to fall harmlessly to Cron. That was relatively short punt, but a sky ball. Gives an opportunity for somebody to get under it. And here's Villasenor. He steps by one defender, steps by 2 defenders. He's got Tran overlapping on the outside. He gives him the ball. Tran tries to take on a couple of defenders, does lose the ball. It was going to be off of the Raptors, so smartly they do a good job of trying to get back to make sure that ball goes for a throw-in. So skipping a 3-5-2 with 3 back and 5 in the midfield. I mean, the battle really has to be won in that midfield, doesn't it?
Yeah, you have to control the middle of the field with that formation, because if you don't, then you're in a world of hurt. And the whole intent here is to put more pressure on the opposing defense. Get into their attacking third and have numbers. But you're asking a lot of those outside midfielders, because you're asking them to come back and cover defensively as well, because you only have 3 in the back line.
Villaseñor there being dispossessed, looking for some help. Wildcats probably need to move around a little for him when he's surrounded by Raptor defenders, as Johnson playing in what I guess would be described as in the 5 midfield, a defensive midfield position. Of course, last year he played some outside mid, and now Coach Bouteli thinks that he's a good fit for that middle position.
I really like Johnson at that spot. He's got such good awareness of the field, where his teammates are, where the other team is, excellent ball control skills, and it kind of puts him as like a quarterback on the field, if you will, so he can direct things and move things around. And I think that's probably what Coach Josue sees in him, and I like that, asking the junior co-captain to kind of run things from that position.
Johnson, one of the junior captain, as the ball gets pinballed around. And Hackenmuller comes down with it. The ball drifts out of bounds. These are new jerseys this year for the Wildcat boys. Blue jerseys with green stripes on the front, but fortunately nothing on the back, which makes commentators' job a little bit easier to see.
I mean, if they really wanted to spoil us, they would put their names on the back, but that's probably asking a little much.
Center referee Josh Hartwell having a word with Davis Hackenmuller, making sure that he understands that he needs to be making a play for that ball, as I think Hackenmuller didn't have much of an opportunity for that ball, and early in the game it's a good conversation to have with a player. Hackenmuller plays with a lot of passion, not afraid to throw his body around, but he also needs to make sure that he plays smart, because these Wildcats need him on the field.
Yeah, you're not going to get away with a call when you attack from behind like that. So a pretty easy one there, but I do agree with you. I love the conversation afterwards, right? You don't need to give a card right away. Just have that conversation and say, hey, probably just be more careful when you're behind the player.
The referee, an experienced South Suburban Conference referee. We've seen Hartwell many times here from this vantage point, both for the girls and the boys. He's not afraid to let the boys play a little bit. No question about that, but at the same time, I think tends to do a good job of keeping control of the game. Of course, the moment I say that, I've probably jinxed him, and hopefully nothing bad or untoward happens the rest of the game.
Yeah, I was going to say something, Nathan. I thought, learned your lesson last year. You start praising the referee, and we immediately get a questionable call afterwards. I mean, you're a veteran of this. You should know better.
Well, aspirational goals die hard. What can I say, Skip Newton? But
the eternal optimist.
That's a foul there on Axelrod. That's going to be a more dangerous free kick from about 30 yards out.
Free kick upcoming for Eastridge.
Yeah, that's not a great spot to be physical and be taking a penalty, because now you're absolutely putting a scoring opportunity into the hands of your opponent. Fortunately, the Wildcat defense has plenty of time to set up their wall. Goalkeeper Kron is directing on where he wants him to stand. And the wall proves effectively. Nicely done.
There have been a couple of stretches here of possession where the Wildcats have had some good passing combinations, Skip, where they've put together 5 or 6 passes in a row. Sometimes not always big passes, but just small, quick, controlled passes. And I have to say, if that continues in this formation, as Eastridge attacking now quickly, Peyton Jensen doing his best to make sure that ball stays to the outside. Nicely done by Jensen to recover. Johnson can't quite get to it. Kron got wrong-footed there. Did a nice job. Used all 6'4" to stretch out and tap that to the side. He got wrong-footed there. I think he thought that ball was going to the other side of the net.
Yeah, it looked like he just lost his feet, but excellent extension to make up for it, and just got enough of the ball to push it wide.
You get a sense that Kron's Cron's mantra might be, as long as it doesn't go in the goal, no matter what I look like or what happens, I'm okay with it.
That's really what you want from your goalkeeper, right? Just keep it from getting behind you, and that's all right.
That's right. I almost wonder if we might compare it to Dominik Hasek in the NHL, where Dominik Hasek's style was somewhat chaotic, and as long as it stayed out of the goal, that's all he cared about. In any event, comparing a high school senior to an NHL all-time great is probably not what commentators ought to be doing, but in any event, the ball goes out of bounds.
I was going to let it go, but I was thinking the same thing. Like, wow.
As Joseph battles on the far side. The ball finds the middle of the field. Hackenmüller's going to give it a run.
So one thing that I think our viewers can notice here as Eastridge has control and they've been pressuring, that 3-back really does become almost like a 5-back, because both of those outside midfielders are getting back, and that back line becomes much more difficult to penetrate. So I like that they're getting back defensively. Nice little restart here by Eagan. See if they can do a quick counterattack.
Ball comes over the top. On this turf, of course, that's going to find Jordan Walker, the senior keeper for the Raptors. And right now, the Wildcats competing well, but not necessarily creating a lot of scoring opportunities yet, as that ball comes up and over the top, and Walcott is going to have to give it a run. Wellman's going to make the run. Cron comes out wildly. Nicely done that time by Cron. Walcott was really on his horses. Now Johnson has an opportunity. He's got Axelrod in front of him. Villaseñor in the middle of the park. He's got a little bit of space. Pulled the ball back and did not know that there was a defender right behind him. Villaseñor turns the ball over, but did the right thing, I think, in terms of waiting for help. And it was 2v4, and he was trying to wait for help, and he just didn't. He needs to know that there's somebody behind him, so one of his teammates has got to help him.
Yeah, we've talked about the 3-back and with your outside backs, outside midfield is getting back. The other thing that puts pressure on is when you do try to counterattack, you need them to hurry up and get into the attack and support them, be a part of that. You're really asking those outside midfielders to do quite a bit. And I remember when we talked to Coach Butelli just last night, and he mentioned that what he really wants to see from the team in general, but I think this is a perfect example, is don't pace yourself so that you can play longer. Go as hard as you possibly can. And if that means you have to come out after 10 minutes, then so be it. But you'd rather see them play really hard and then get subbed, and then they can catch their breath and come back in versus, try to play the whole game.
Nicely done there by Axelrod, coming back to break up that shot from Dagan. Ball finds the corner. It's played away that time by Jensen. And that ball's going to go up through the uprights for a East Ridge field goal. In fact, the East Ridge football team and the Wildcats the Wildcat football team will at some point this year, and I forget the schedule off the top of my head, they will play this year. Scron starts it from the back. Walcott's a center back of that 3. Of course, senior captain Daniel Redlin is out with a knee injury. He's expected back soon, but he's not available to this side at this point. Also be interesting to see when we're going to see senior captain Derek C.A., last year's leading scorer for the Wildcats.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that he hasn't found himself inserted into this game yet. It looks like the Wildcats could use a little bit of a spark, and we all know that CA can definitely provide that with his speed and athleticism.
Jensen's going to hoof that forward. It gets intercepted there by Dagan. Nicely done. Now it falls for Prouty. Prouty going to chip it forward for Tran. Tran flicks on for Hackenmüller. Nicely done there by Tran. Nice flick on. Now Hackenmüller's going to run this down. Force a decision. Now it falls for Villaseñor. Villaseñor's got an opportunity. He's going to take on a Raptor defender. Now he's going to take on 2 Raptor defenders. Now the ball's going to come onto the side. Tran serves it in. Axelrod's going to go for it. Gets a foot to it. Does turn it on goal. So we're going to call that a shot on goal.
That was a nifty little play there by Axelrod. That was a tough ball. The defender had all the position in the world. To just be able to get something on that and direct it towards goal was a really nice effort there, and a nice cross by Tran.
No, it was a beautiful cross by Tran, and really Axelrod, because Axelrod he's not a large man. He's not a large player. He's a freshman. He's still growing into his body, but he's not big. And for him to be able to use use his strength to get a foot onto that ball, it was nicely done. Jensen with it again. He's going to chip it forward. Neither team yet has made any substitutions. About 14 minutes into this game. Prouty with a nice tackle there. He's going to win the ball. You could skip. It certainly seems like the Wildcats are very comfortable trying to possess this ball with short control passes in the midfield.
Yeah, I do like that, and of course that's that could be something new that the coach is stressing to the team, so they're working on that. And like we talked about, just as the game was starting, it's a new system, a lot of new players, so it might take them a while for that to build. And I think that's an encouraging start to this game, absolutely, for the Wildcats. And if they can use that to start generating a little more pressure in the attacking third, then we could see some goal-scoring opportunities.
And Jack Joseph's going to check in for for Sondag. Yep, Jake Sondag. Joseph was announced in the starting lineup, and then I think Sondag actually was on the field. I think we're not going to have an offside call. We're going to have referee Josh Hartwell is going to call a foul, as Peyton Jensen was fouled by McCurris. I want to welcome all of you from the South Washington School District, everybody from Woodbury, everybody from Washington County. Thanks for joining us here on ETV's coverage of high school soccer between the Wildcats and the Raptors.
Good service ball there by Hackenmuller. Interesting that he came all the way back from a forward position to take that kick.
Well, Hackenmuller, I do seem to recall Hackenmuller did a nice job last year. On some of the corners and some of the set pieces. This ball gets played down deep. Wildcat defense is going to be tested. Nicely done that time by, I believe it was not Walcott, it was Leonard's.
Yeah, when you talk about the strengths of Davis Hackenmuller, one of them is definitely those service balls on restarts, whether it's a corner kick or a free kick like this one. He gets a good foot on it, and it generally goes pretty much where he wants it to.
Ryan Leonard's with the ball now, number 9 for the Wildcats. And, of course, you'll recall, Skip, that Leonard's last year was one of the top, I believe he's the third leading scorer on the team. Played a forward wing type of position. Coach Boutali has moved him back to an outside back position in 3-back. And it said that he's accepted that role very, very well, understands that that's what the team needs. And I think that's what you want to see out of a senior captain.
Yeah, and he mentioned that to us as well, and talked about, I think, wanting a captain at every level, and I think that might be part of that, right? We talked about Michael Johnson being at that defensive midder position. He's got Leonard's in the back, which is important. I think maybe that's something with Redlin out, and when CA comes in, of course, he plays up front, so then he gets that leadership up there. But Boutali talked about who do we want to see step up and lead this team? And he said, I'm relying on the captains, and that's where he's looking for the start at least. I'm sure other players will step up as needed, but that's kind of where he's leaning to start the season off.
Free kick for the Wildcats as the Raptors were caught in an offside position. Leonards will quickly put that in place, finding Joseph on the far side. There's going to be Axelrod tried a pirouette, it didn't quite come off. Nicely done that time by, it's a little hard to see from the far side. I think that's Tran. No, it was Villasenor. Check that. Sun going down, the lights have come on, but we will finish this game when it will be dark out, despite the sun right now. And the assistant referee on the far side is saying to himself that he can't wait for that sun to be all the way down, because he's staring right into it in his half of the field.
Yeah, that could still be a factor on any corner kick from this side, at least in the first half, as it gets low enough to where it's no longer a factor where people are looking into that sun. Then it's not going to be a big deal. But right now, any corner taker from this side, it's going to be a little bit brutal to see the ball.
Foul on the Wildcats. Free kick for the Raptors.
Another foul on the Wildcats. So right now, three fouls on the Wildcats, one on the Raptors. Charlie Burke has made his first varsity appearance, taking the place of Hannon Axelrod. And as Axelrod is a little slight of size, Burke is the opposite of that. Well over 6 feet tall. I think we're going to have a foul there. I think that's, is that Prouty?
Prouty,
Yep,
yeah.
Prouty. Yep, Prouty's going to commit that foul.
Free kick for East
So
Ridge.
another free kick in a semi-dangerous place. Cron will set the wall, a 4-man wall. Johnston will stand over it.
For those of you watching at home, the strategy of the wall is to basically get hit by the ball. That's what you want, ideally, or you force the striker to put it too high and over like that.
Off the free kick, the shot by
Another
Jay
field goal.
Johnston out of bounds. Goal kick to the Wildcats.
Well, I'm sure Johnston would want that one back. As you see his reaction, he's probably a little frustrated with himself that he didn't put that on frame or give his team a better option or better opportunity to try to score there. But in any event, the Wildcat Booster Club would certainly like to tell you about some options, especially for some of their sponsors. Their platinum sponsors, they'd like to thank the Eagan Arms Public House, great Ruben, the Twin Cities Orthopedics, the Urgency Room, Wave Soccer Club, and Willie's Edina Realty. Thank you very much to our platinum sponsors from the Eagan Boys and Girls Soccer Booster Clubs. Tran's going to send that forward, find Prouty. Prouty's got all sorts of space in front of him. He's going to send it over the top. He's looking for Joseph, I believe. It's going to get out of bounds for a throw. Gold sponsors, Ansari's Mediterranean Grill, Rami Cormont at Colwell Banker, Keller Williams and Denise Schoberg, Elite Feet Soccer, Orza Poke and Ramen, Teresa's Mexican Restaurant, ZZQ Barbecue, Devani's Birchwood Dental, Divine Salon, Escape With Us Vacations, Sam's Club, Union Fit, MN, and Zerbel Orthodontics. Thank you so much to those gold sponsors for their big support of these Wildcats. Eastridge with more seniors and juniors certainly on the field than the Wildcats right now. The Wildcats are going to send that forward. Here's a run. The ball's going to come in. Jensen's going to send that towards the sideline. It's found there by Joseph. Joseph's going to hoof that to the outside. And despite the fact that it would have been nice to have had Jensen be able to play that back to Cron, that ball was coming in fast.
Yep, that's what I was expecting him to do. That's typically the easiest play, especially when you've got someone on your heels. Of course, you have to make a really good pass because an errant one can be a disaster, but you know that it's such a simple pass back, and then your goalkeeper can come out and just play it out with his feet really quickly. But he did a nice job of getting it far enough outside where it was kept outside.
Yeah, I definitely like, I will say safety first is always nice. A nice conflagration there between Charlie Burke and one of the Eastridge defenders. I thought maybe we might get a whistle there. This ball now falls for, I believe it's Hackenmuller. Yeah, it was Hackenmuller. And it's going to fall for Tran. It's going to be intercepted. Prouty's going to come over, ride the Eastridge player off, and that's going to be a blue throw in.
Nice recovery pressure there by Prouty to force that one to go out of bounds and win the possession back for the Wildcats.
Absolutely. A lot of a substantial number of these Wildcats are seeing their first varsity action tonight as Johnson is dispossessed by Johnston. Ball comes in, flicks off of Walcott, and is this ball going to get out of bounds for a corner? And yes, they are. The Raptors are going to shield this ball out, so that's going to be their second corner of the night. Opportunity here for the Wildcats to try to create some offense from the break. But first, they'll be called to man mark.
I got to remember, I've been in preseason football mode, that we're back on the soccer pitch. It's not out of bounds. It's out of touch.
Into touch.
Yeah, into touch, yeah.
Ball flicked forward. Hackenmuller makes an effort for it. He gets shoved off. Nice shoulder-to-shoulder challenge. Another shoulder-to-shoulder challenge. I have to say, that's a nice series of challenges from Kroska. That ball's going to find touch, I think it's called. As you've reminded me. And we're going to see some substitutions here for the Wildcats.
Game number 2,
Melvin Kamara is going to come on.
So in is number 14, Tarek Salim.
And so is number 14, Tarek Salim. So Kamara and Salim. Tran and Hackenmuller are going to be withdrawn. So 2 more players, again, making their varsity debut. Going to foul that time on Zhao. Opportunity here for Jensen to send this forward. Looking for Burke, Kamara, Prouty, Johnson. Instead he switches it. Nicely done that time. Leonards finds Villasenor. Villasenor inside the penalty area. Needs an option. Sends that just a little too hard. Villasenor needs to hit that just a little softer. Give his teammate a little bit better of an opportunity to recover.
Yeah, and at the same time, if his teammate is out, right on the touch line, then it's a little bit of an easier pass.
A nice cross that time by the Raptors.
Shot for the Raptors by Parker Wellman.
That was Wellman crossing it over. Not really a shot on goal necessarily, but a nice cross. Took on Walcott, beat Jensen, got the ball across, but that time there was just no opportunity there, no one there to clean it up for the Raptors. Villasenor finds Johnson. Johnson over to Leonards. Leonards finds Joseph on the outside.
Good control there. That was a tough ball up in the air. He brought it down nicely.
And that ball's just going to be a little bit too aspirational. Tariq Salim is going to be dispossessed. It's not even going to get to Salim. Now Salim's going to get his foot onto the ball. An opportunity to send it forward for Kamara. That ball's intercepted. Jensen doing some nice work in the air there. Johnson being harassed. Walcott clears it out. Burke, number 3, as I said, very tall striker. You imagine he did in the scrimmages last week against, nicely done that time by Joseph. What a crafty and heads-up play to play that ball off of the Raptors for a throw. The Wildcats are going to substitute. And we're going to see Evan Galachin.
Number 4.
Galinchin, the number 4, the junior midfielder. But I was going to say, Charlie Burke did manage to score a header in the scrimmages last weekend. I believe he's 6'4", might be 6'5". He's tall. Slight of build, but very tall. We have not seen senior captain Derek C.A. yet. Maybe ask at halftime, see if we can find out some information as to, I see him over there on the bench. I'm just not exactly sure what his status is.
Yeah, I got to believe there might be some sort of an injury situation, because it's really weird that he would not be in the game at this point. Another easy call there for center referee.
Check that. Derek C.A. is actually not in uniform tonight. I think he may be nursing an injury. I don't know. We'll find out at halftime. In any event, the Wildcats are still 0-0, matched up with the Raptors as a shot comes in. Walcatt's equal to the task. Nicely done. Just over 12 and a half minutes here remaining in the half as Joseph on the overlap comes. He's got all sorts of green grass in front of him before a sliding tackle takes him out. That's the kind of tackle that you would expect from Joseph, actually. Joseph, one of the more physical and physically aggressive Wildcats on the field. A clean challenge, fair challenge, falls for Jensen. Now what's interesting, Skip, is that the Raptors are giving the Wildcats a little bit of room here. They're sitting back, they're waiting for the Wildcats, I think, maybe to make a mistake or turn the ball over, and then of course they're trying that quick counter.
Jensen, the outside back. Another player asked to switch positions. He was not a defender last season, so like Leonards, also playing defense this season. Great save there by Cron, bailing out the defense a little bit. Yeah. Quick hands, got low too.
Yeah, Johnson at the 6 got caught napping, got caught napping and somebody slipped in behind him. The backside Leonards did a nice job of putting pressure on Johnston as he came through, but that time the defense has got to make sure they've got to look for those runners, because with only 3 in the back, there just aren't as many guys to cover for you if you allow somebody to slip in behind you.
And here's that corner situation we talked about earlier where the sun is in everybody's eyes looking for this ball.
Nate McKinnon is also now checked in for Joseph. That ball's going to be flicked, I think, over everybody. They're waiting for that ball to go out of bounds, and it doesn't go out of bounds. It just sits there on the line, and it's sent back in.
Tyler waited it out as long as he could. But he's like, all right, this thing's just not going to work with me.
Absolutely. Nicely done that time by the Wildcats in terms of getting a good clearance. I think that ball's probably going to find touch, and it does. But right now the Wildcats, with just over 10 and a half minutes to go in this half, playing some good soccer, Skip. Well, that ball caught Cron by surprise, but he plays it right back out to Salim. Nicely done. Salim's got to move it across the formation. These guys Wildcat players have got to come to the ball, and that's going to be a foul. That's because the Wildcats were standing still when that ball came across from Salim, and they had to react. If they come to the ball when the ball's played to them, I think they won't concede nearly as many of those, but standing still, waiting for the ball to come to you means the other team's going to have a chance.
So I would call this the third foul that's producing a good goal-scoring opportunity for Eastridge. And the second time they fired one into the wall. Good pressure there by Prouty to force a near turnover, and now Wildcats do gain possession.
Morrow keeping the ball in, but it falls down to an Eastridge player. That ball's going to find touch, and Joseph's going to watch that go out of bounds. Kamara is going to stop it there. Look for Burke. Burke can't quite get a foot to it. Now the Wildcats recover. Johnson gobbles up that loose ball and falls for Galachin. That ball gets chipped forward by Joseph, but it doesn't quite come off.
Wildcats are doing a good job of connecting in their defensive third and really in the middle of the field. The defenders and the midfielders seem to be fairly well connected. They're stringing together some passes. It tends to struggle and break down once they get into the attacking third. They don't have the numbers, so the forwards, it feels like they're 2-on-4, 2-on-5 the entire time.
Burke looking for Kamara. Kamara couldn't quite do much with it there, but Salim was screaming for it on the far side of the penalty area. He was wide open. Falls for Johnson. I will say this, I think Johnson's doing a nice job of distributing there in the center midfield.
Nifty play there by the Raptor midfielder to elude a Wildcat, get it further down into Eagan territory.
Substitutions, both teams, 2 for the Wildcats, and an Axelrod.
We're going to see Villasenor and Hannon Axelrod check back in for the Wildcats.
Villasenor, number 11, back in the game. Going out,
Just over 7.5 minutes to go in this game, still 0-0. Those of you who missed our earlier game, was that ball is well over the top. Nicely done by the Raptors. And they're going to earn another corner. This will be their third corner of the half, third of the game. Raptors using the fact that you cannot be offsides on a throw-in to their advantage, stretching the defense. A good recovery by the Wildcat defense just to concede the corner, but not the scoring opportunity.
From the far side with A.J. Johnston, number 7.
Johnston with it on the far side. There'll be a right-footed out swinger. Ball finds no one. Falls for Tariq Salim. He's got all sorts of green grass in front of him. He's got Hannon Axelrod in front. Galachin's got it. Now he chips it forward for Hannon. Axelrod. Axelrod making a break for it. Burke's also there. Axelrod overruns it. And it gets hoofed forward by the Raptors. A little bit surprised there. I thought they had a chance to really control the ball and really build up the play. Instead, they really just sent it forward. Almost a little bit not desperate, but seemed overly aggressive.
Yeah, it makes me think they were recognizing that they had an opportunity to counterattack and were trying to move it up quickly and get that established. But the key there is that you have to connect that long pass with the forward. Either the forward checks back and he's facing the ball coming at him, or you pass it to space, allowing that attacker to run onto it. Unfortunately, we couldn't get it past that defender, so he had the advantage on that play and was able to turn Axelrod and get it back headed towards the Wildcat side of the field.
Sondega check back in. Cron nicely done off his line to snag that one. That took looked like to me anyway, an odd hop. He was able to use those big paws to knock it down.
And a great job controlling the ball so there was no rebound, because if that one slips away from him, that's probably a goal.
And Coach Boutali, talking about Michael Cron, indicated that he certainly likes the hands. The hands are strong. They're big and they're strong. So if the shot comes in and it's right at him, or the shot comes in, he's got an opportunity. We've got a whistle here. I think we're going to have a foul here on the Raptors. That's an interesting call. I actually thought the Wildcats were still. I thought the Wildcats were still in possession. I'm not sure why they didn't play advantage there, but in any event, Jensen's going to take this free kick from just over his half of the line.
This is the second time that they brought the ball back for a foul. So unfortunately, we have an offside, because that ball was perfectly delivered by Jensen, and that could have been the best scoring chance for the Wildcats in this first half.
One thing the Wildcats have certainly demonstrated this evening, Skip, is that they have several players who can put nice free kicks together. Now it's a question of getting on the other end of it and putting it home. The ball gets hoisted forward. This ball is going to fall. That ball is going to be chipped out to the side. That was McKinnon taking no chances. I kind of like the safety first idea there, because there was a lot of speed, a lot of heat on McKinnon, and he didn't want to take any chances to make sure that ball got out.
I thought that was a brilliant decision. The guy was right on his hip, and like you said, he had some wheels. Passing that one back to Cron would have been extremely risky, and he absolutely made not only the right decision, but executed it very well.
Senior with a nice carry.
Now here's an opportunity. Run.
The ball goes wide. That was a good recovery. It was a great pass and a great run, and given the situation, you might see a better recovery that time by the Wildcat defense.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that he didn't shoot the ball right away. I don't know. Our angle's a little tough on that one. I don't know if McKinnon was able to get back in a position to block it, and that's why he chose to bring it back. But boy, that looked like a perfect opportunity for him to just one-time that on the goal.
Opening game for both of these squads. Both of these teams starting their season tonight with, and of course, there's going to be the obligatory play. Players not exactly sure where they're supposed to be going or who's going where. Are you running? Are you staying? Things like that. But so far, the Wildcats certainly, as you said, Skip, I'm impressed with the connection between the defenders and the midfield. Now it seems like the forwards need to kind of get their pattern down in terms of being able to put this ball on net.
Yeah, and it's really that, the midfielders are doing a good job of coming back and connecting with the defense. Then they need to move up and support the forwards on the attack. So we see less of the 2-on-4, 2-on-5, and more where we have numbers and can put a good opportunity to score like that. Thankfully, the Raptors put yet another field goal on the board.
Johnston, that's the second or third time, Skip, that Johnston has sent a ball well over the goal. He clearly can shoot the ball. He's obviously a good athlete and a good soccer player. The Wildcats can't let him do that 3 more times, because he's going to score. He's going to score one of these times.
Yeah, that's one where if you're the opposing coach, you're starting to get a little bit frustrated that, it's not about blasting the ball as hard as you can. It's about finishing. And finishing means I don't care how pretty it looks. I'm putting it in the goal because that's really what matters, and that's all that counts.
Villasenor with the interception. It's going to go out for a throw for the Raptors as we approach 90 seconds here to go in the first half. Score still 0-0. We'd say that the Raptors have certainly had their share, had the lion's share of the offensive pressure, and I guess you would say scoring chances, given that the Wildcats really haven't mounted what I would call a real good scoring opportunity. But this throw-in tries to find Charlie Burke. That ball gets hoisted out. I think these defenders, these back three defenders, are certainly going to have to understand that they're going to have to really be on the horse. It certainly looked like Johnson might be offsides. Cron stops the ball. I'm not sure what in the world was going on there. But in any event, it works to the benefit of the Wildcats. Cron is almost on the ball, and a defender kicks it out from his hands. Heart in your throat there for if you're a Wildcat fan.
Well, and you talked about just a minute ago about the players getting used to playing with each other. When was the last real game that Wildcats and Cron have played together as a goalkeeper and a defender? This could be the first one.
This is the first one. Oh, absolutely.
And that matters, right? You get familiar with your teammates the more you play with them, and that's one where I bet we see that as the season goes on, and there will be better communication between the two, and they'll know exactly, oh, wait, my keeper's in a position, I'm going to let him have it.
7, 6, 5.
Opportunity for Axelrod. He can't quite get to it as this half is going to end. Score at the halftime, East Ridge Raptors 0, Eagan Wildcats 0, 0-0. Fairly even on the scoreboard. I liked the run of play, I think, probably favors East Ridge with more shots, more perhaps scoring opportunities. And you like to think that, you have to think if you're an East Ridge fan that you're going to start converting on some of those in the second half. At the same time, the Wildcats, nice possession in the midfield, stringing passes together, but not necessarily developing a finished product in the final third, Skip.
Yeah, if they want to win this game, that's the adjustment they're going to have to make at halftime, right? Like we said, we're keeping the ball out of the net, so that's great, but they have to generate some scoring opportunities. We talked to Coach Butelli yesterday, and he said he was very pleased in the scrimmages about the number of opportunities and pressure that we were able to put on the opponents, but finishing was the main problem. Now, that's not the case here. We're just not generating pressure, so if they can correct that at half, the one advantage that the Wildcats have is when one team maybe feels like they should be winning and they're not, that can start to get pretty frustrating as the game goes on, and it gives the Wildcats every opportunity, hey, just put one in and we can steal this game. Or, again, we've got 40 minutes to improve and start playing what we hope to be Wildcat soccer and get more pressure on.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to step aside here for about 10 minutes, let these guys have a halftime, give our award-winning ETV crew a bit of a break, and we'll be back with the second half in about 10 minutes here on ETV.
Cops and Bobbers is designed to offer opportunities for kids that may not have a chance to fish to come out to some local lakes in Eagan and experience some of the fisheries that we have. They'll be spending time out in the boats with some of our officers. They'll be spending time fishing from a pier behind us. And then they're also going to get to see what we do on a daily basis.
I came out to learn a little bit about fishing and talk to the police, see a little bit about how they interact with the community. It's a way to see that the police are good guys, that they care about the community and care about, making memories with family and with the community.
You might only see us on your worst day. This gets to show you that we are people. We're invested in this community, and it's a way for us to give back.
We need to connect with our youth a lot more. One of the best ways of doing that is this Youth Leadership Academy.
It's not like boring school presentations, it's informative and it's fun.
We went to a hotel and examined a mock crime scene, and we had to find pieces of evidence.
It was an outstanding event. It was an outstanding group of kids, just remarkable. And to be part of something like that, huge.
This is an important time for them when they are in high school and making important decisions in terms of what they're going to do, what they're going to study, but also how they can start contributing with their communities.
I know that no matter what field I go into, I will be a very good leader there because of this.
I go to the gym like every day. I usually utilize the free weights. I do some of the stationary equipment as well. I also utilize the indoor track. If you're an Eagan resident, do yourself a favor and check out the Eagan Community Center.
Welcome back to Wildcat Stadium for the second half of this boys varsity soccer tilt between the Eagan Wildcats and the East Ridge Raptors. Score is still 0-0, and ETV is your home for Wildcat sports as well as a number of other great programs. But as you saw on our screen just a few moments ago, there's a substantial amount of Wildcat sports, both soccer, football, other sports, all sorts of sports here in the fall season. So pay attention to etv.com to give yourself a chance to see that. And as we start here in the second half, we're going to see it looks like we're going to see, aside from the Wildcats, it's going to be largely similar to what we started with at the beginning of the game. East Ridge gets us off here. And they're clearly going to test that back line. Here's an opportunity for the for the Raptors. And Cron equal to the challenge. It sure looks like the Raptors, Skip, coming right off the kickoff, are understanding they're going to try to test that back line of three.
Yeah, they caught us napping there. Unfortunately, Cron got off his back line and was able to get up and take that errant header from the attacking Raptor. Otherwise, that could have been a really ugly start to the second half.
Nicely done there by Prouty. Prouty's going to find Walcott. Walcott is going to move that to Johnson. And again, Axelrod and Hackenmüller are your two strikers, with Prouty, Joseph, Villasenor as Joseph slices into the penalty area. That ball gets played across. Nicely done there. Here's an opportunity for Villasenor. Villasenor is going to send that forward with the left foot. Hackenmüller is going to try with his right foot. Johnson's going to try with his right foot, and finally does get on goal. A nice shot on goal there by Johnson. Didn't trouble the keeper too much, but at this point, if you're a Wildcat supporter, you just want to see shots on goal.
Yeah, I was going to mention that Jack Joseph started that play off with a really, an unfortunate situation where the ball got under him, but then he absolutely made up for it with an incredible couple of touches to get around the defender and put a great ball in the middle that set up a couple of shots by the Wildcats. I liked how Michael Johnson took that one touch and teed it up. Fortunately, or unfortunately, I should say, straight at the keeper. But that's what we need to see more of. Let's get it down deep, center it, and then see if we can't either get a rebound or a one-time into the net. Early pressure here for the Wildcats, maybe the best of the game at this point.
Axelrod, Villasenor, and Tran on the far side. Now it comes down for East Ridge. East Ridge is going to slice through. Walcott is going to play that to safety, or attempt to. Joseph's going to battle there against Vargas. It's going to go out of bounds. We're going to have a white throw. Starting the second half, certainly both sides are going to have to make adjustments as this ball gets flicked in off the throw-in. It was a deep throw-in, and the ball falls to A.J. Johnson. Johnson, who had missed the goal several times earlier in the first half, made no mistake there, using his head to steer that past Cron here in the 43rd minute.
Just a brilliant throw. I mean, that thing went all the way into the center of the field. I probably caught the Wildcats a bit by surprise. We haven't seen that all game long. And we talked earlier about Johnson, blasting shots over the net and not finishing. This time, the exact opposite. Didn't have to crush it, but he perfectly placed that wide. I mean, no chance for Cron, and one touch into the net.
No, that was a brilliant, absolutely brilliant finish. Very soft, very almost gentle. But as you say, Cron was on an island, didn't have an opportunity. Defense, Wildcat defense caught napping there a bit. Or perhaps, as you said, maybe just surprised. A.J. Johnson with the goal. Assist to number 4, Brady Dagan. In the 43rd minute, the Raptors take a 1-0 lead. Now the Wildcats are going to be pressed a little bit. They're going to have to do something in the attacking third to create some pressure. It's going to go off Axelrod for a throw-in.
Really liked the pressure there by Axelrod, trying to pin the defense back. Don't let them out, right? You finally get the ball deep into their territory. You want to keep it down there. Unfortunately, a nice play by the defense to blast it off his foot for the goal kick.
East Ridge goalie making sure that he goes to the far side of the goal to get a drink of water before he takes the goal kick. Crafty Sr. burning another 15 seconds of time. And that ball gets hoisted forward.
Seems a bit early for that strategy with so much time left, but like you said, Crafty Sr., they'll do whatever they can.
Joseph on a run. He's continuing his run. He's dispossessed there in the corner. And then goes out of bounds into touch off of Joseph, but Joseph not afraid to turn on the burners and run past everybody.
So that's at least one Wildcat player that's come out and decided, let's kick this up a notch. He's put on the burners a couple of times already in this second half, early to put on pressure. Hopefully that's contagious, and we see more players start to get a little more anxious, a little more momentum gaining to get that goal back and get back to a tie game.
Villasenor doing a nice job there of controlling that ball as that ball kind of came in a little hot. Now Joseph works with Leonards, and Joseph tries to find Hackenmuller, can't quite do it. But as this game wears on, it'll be interesting to see if the Wildcats make any changes personnel-wise. They got a push in the back there. And a foul on the Raptors. It's going to be an opportunity here for the Wildcats about 40 yards out. 50 yards out to send a ball in. Leonards is going to get under this with his left foot. Going to look for his teammates on the edge of the penalty area.
Oh, nice flick there. Unfortunately, nobody home for the Wildcats.
Yeah, Axelrod did a nice job getting to that ball and flicking it towards the penalty area. Let's see if there's an opportunity here for the Wildcats as Prouty goes down under pressure. Leonard's doing a nice job. Someone's going to have to cover for him. Nicely done by Leonards. It falls for Villasenor. Villasenor steps between two defenders. Here's Joseph. He's going to send that towards goal. Nicely done by Joseph. That was an innocuous little chip, but it was on frame.
Yeah, that was sneaky. I was not expecting that, and I'm sure neither was the goalkeeper. Unfortunately, he was able to recover and pluck that one out of the air.
Walcott is going to bring it back down. Walcott is going to shield the ball to the outside. Unfortunately, he's dispossessed. Johnson with it now. He's going to have an opportunity to try to cross it over. Gets deflected. That ball's going to go high and wide. As Vargas is going to limp away from that one.
Nice job by Walcott's there, keeping himself between the attacker and the goal. He's got a pretty thick body. He's a muscular guy, so he's willing to put his body in harm's way, and he's already blocked at least one or two shots today. And so he was clearly telling the attacker, hey, you want to shoot this, it's going to hit me. It's not going in the net. So nice job there delaying the attack and forcing them to look for another option.
Mueller knocked away. Falls for Joseph. Joseph's going to do what he can to see what he can do with it. Now it comes for Prouty. Prouty is going to swing that over for, just a little too hard there, but never mind. Villasenor hops over the defender, gets the ball, tries to get it at his feet. He's taking on two defenders. He's going to have to make a change in that. Tran on the far side commits what appears to be, that's going to be a foul. Pretty easy call there for the center referee. But Villasenor's is going to need to have some help there to understand he's taking on two defenders, and at this level, it's going to be hard to dribble through two defenders. Somebody's got to open up and give him an option.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go with that. It felt like he uses that nifty footwork to create space and an opportunity, but then he didn't have anyone to pass the ball, and so he got stuck just trying to possess it. And eventually, like you said, you get two defenders on you. That's a really tough ask.
And Cron comes out, and the ball gets played around him. Nicely done. The defense was beaten. That was a great timed run by the Raptors. The defense that Raptors were in, two players were in, and Cron came out and at least disrupted the shot. I think if Cron stays back, that's a goal or certainly a good scoring opportunity.
Yeah, I'd love to see somebody from the Wildcats play that ball with their head in the air, right? Those are balls you need to win in the air, and so that, once you let it bounce, then good things happen for the other team and bad things happen for your defense. So I think that's the adjustment that I would like to see there. But you're right. Cron came out pressured and forced the wide shot.
Right at that shot to number 11, Villasenor.
Villasenor with the shot on the other end. Did not trouble keeper Jordan Walker that much. But at the same time, you look at the opportunity here, and there needs to be some sort of answer here by the Wildcats. As Leonards takes that down and puts it into touch. Safety first by Ryan Leonards. Be interesting to see when Daniel Redland does return to the Wildcat lineup, a senior captain defender. So it'll be interesting to see if Ryan Leonard stays at his outside back position or if he slides up into a forward or midfield position.
Yeah, that last punt by the goalkeeper of Eastridge, played in the air by Wildcats. That's exactly what we want to see. Nice play. He immediately, shoved it right back down into the Raptors' zone. Easy call there. Now we're going to get a card.
And we're going to get a yellow card here on number 4, Brady Dagan. Dagan's going to have to leave the game here. Yellow card caution at 50 minutes.
Time of the yellow card is 49:02.
It's going to be a free kick here for the Wildcats.
Placed on the field by Connor Yang, number 14.
Hackenmuller is going to stand over it.
They will resume with a free kick for the Wildcats.
Clock stops, of course, and anytime a card is being issued here in high school, as we don't have added extra time. Extra time. Hackenmuller's going to send this in. It's softly done. Axelrod gets ahead to it, but can't quite steer it on goal. Here's an opportunity here for, nicely done, by Villasenor, and that ball is going to be out of bounds. Oh, so unlucky. Villasenor, what a great effort to keep that in, and I initially thought he did, but near side assistant referee Dan Wilson says, nope, that ball is out of bounds. Of course, he's got the best view of anybody in the entire stadium.
But that does not stop many people in the stadium from disagreeing with the call and telling him that he's wrong.
So I've heard. 1-0 right now to the Raptors. Wildcats trying to climb back into this. They're going to have to do something something in the attacking third. They have to string something together. Someone's going to have to get either creative or win a ball as Tran's dispossessed. And balls to the outside. Opportunity for Walcott. He's going to play it out. I think we're going to have a corner. Yeah, I think we are. We, in fact, are going to have the first corner of the second half here for the Raptors. Raptors are going to take their sweet time as Dagan checks back in after taking the mandatory sideline break from his yellow card.
And the rule on that in high school is you get a yellow card, you have to exit the game, but the next stoppage you can come back in. Is that correct?
That's my understanding of the rule. There may be some more permutations of it, but that is my understanding as well, yes.
And for those that aren't aware, you get 2 yellows in a game, that equals a red, which means you are out of this game and I believe the next game, and your team does not get to substitute for that player that is dismissed, so you will play short the rest of the game.
Ball comes flying in. It's played out that time by, looked like Johnson. Nicely done. Actually, might have been Prouty. In any event, Joseph battling. Joseph's going to be taken out by, and we're going to have an easy foul there.
Foul on the Raptors.
That's an easy foul against Vargas.
Boys, Joseph's aggressiveness and hustle is really standing out in this half. That's another play that he's made. He didn't win the ball, but he forced the foul and won possession for the Wildcats. Another nice play.
The Wildcats are going to need players like Joseph here to step up in this second half. That ball gets put into touch wildly by the Raptors. I mean, Wildcats are going to have to come up with some creativity, I think, in that final third. Hackenmuller and Axelrod are going to have to either work together or they're going to have to find a way to penetrate this defense. Raptor defense doing a nice job of right now sitting back with their back line of 4, and they started the game in a 4-5, calling it a 4-5-1. This ball gets flicked in. I think, yes, absolutely. It's going to be flicked in. It was not played back to the goalie, but it did come off a Raptor defender.
A diving save there by the goalkeeper. Tries to do the quick counterattack.
I have to say I'm impressed with how the Eastridge keeper Walker has done a good job of jump-starting their offense. And here's Eastridge on the edge of the penalty area. Nicely done that time by Johnson. Needed to be there. It's taken away, comes back to him. And now Leonards is going to chip that forward for Joseph. Joseph's going to find Villasenor in the middle of the park. Villasenor's got all sorts of green grass in front of him. I'd like to see Villasenor pick out his teammate. Somebody needs to give him an option, and he does. Tran's out there on the far side. Now Axelrod on the far side. Dispossessed there, and right back come the Wildcats. There need to be more bodies forward. You get a sense, Skip Newton, that there need to be a few more bodies forward here for the Wildcats as Hackenmuller has it on the far side. Hackenmuller fires it in. I think that's, wow, I'm surprised that, I thought that might be deflected.
Yeah, it looked a little weird coming off the foot, like it hit someone else. We talked earlier about, if you listed Hackenmuller's strengths as a player, we talked about what a great service ball he has. His right-footed shot is killer. I mean, that's the first time we've seen it today, and unfortunately it went high for the Wildcats' first field goal. But I would love to see him get more opportunities to get that right-footed shot off, because he absolutely can put the ball in the net, and that's what the Wildcats need right now.
More goalie drinks of water. I think the fans are getting on him a little bit about that. Eventually we'll see if now the trick, of course, with time wasting is if the goalie has to leave with a yellow card as Jack Joseph wins that ball in the air. The goalie has to leave in a yellow card, you're going to have your backup goalie in for at least until the next stoppage. So I imagine the center referee, Josh Halverson, would do at least the goalie a favor by warning him, saying, look, either move don't get drinks when the ball's out of bounds.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Just didn't contact the ball. Doesn't like the call.
That's a good call there on Johnson. If you miss the ball and you take out the player, you're gonna get it, and you're gonna get the foul. And Johnson there, nothing in that. Obviously, not trying to hit the player even or injure the player or anything like that. Just missed the ball. Now Villasenor needs to get away from the ball. I'm not sure why Villasenor would delay the restart here, given that they're down by a goal, but that ball's going to come in. It's going to get flicked on. Kron's going to come out and claim it. Nicely done by Michael Kron. Again, there was another runner behind the defense. Makes you a little nervous.
Yeah, I would like to see at least somebody, right on his hip, if not goal side there. Don't let him in clean. At least put pressure on. Fortunately, the hop was played cleanly by Kron, so no shot was attempted. But yeah, that's another example, and we've seen quite a few where the ball's just getting over the heads. So an adjustment needs to be made there, perhaps on these kicks by that back line. Maybe they're just pushing up too much to start.
First game of the season for both sides. Wildcats will be at St. Michael Albertville this Saturday at 4 p.m. And then the East Ridge Raptors will be playing Minneapolis Washburn at 5 p.m. this Saturday as Hackenmuller watches that ball head towards touch. So again, the Wildcats have an opportunity here. They're getting opportunities in the final third, but right now, just not a lot of opportunities on goal. Certainly know what you'd describe as quality chances. Jake Sondag and Charlie Burke checking in. Sondag replacing Jack Joseph, who's put in a really good shift, and Hannon Axelrod's going to step aside for Charlie Burke. I'd like to think that maybe somebody would try to find the forehead of Charlie Burke in the goal area. Villasenor with the ball, looks for Burke. Burke waited on that ball. It's intercepted.
Nice step up by the defense there. Burke had his back to his own goal, or to the attacking goal, so he couldn't see the player from him, and that's when a good defender will recognize that and say, okay, I can step in front. He doesn't know I'm coming.
Indirect free kick upcoming for the Wildcats.
That's a situation where, as we mentioned earlier in the game, there are a number of players getting their first varsity action, and regardless of how good a soccer player you are, and no matter how you play club, no matter what level you play at, etc., no matter where you play, there is additional speed in the game. As this ball gets hoisted in, it falls. Hackenmuller's on top of it, and it's played out that time quickly by Vargas. Nicely done. Smart play by the East Ridge Raptor. His goalie was down. The goal was yawning open, and we're going to have a corner. This is probably as good a chance in the second half here as the Wildcats have had. Hackenmuller's going to stand over it.
This is where you want to see that ball in an area where, like we said, the height of Charlie Burke can play a factor and maybe get this one into the net.
Ball comes in high. Ball comes up there. Tran sends it towards goal. That's going to get out of play, and it's going to go out. Unfortunate that time for a throw. Now, the Wildcats could use a deep throw here. There's no reason they can't crash the goal and do the same thing that the Raptors did on their deep throw in. that doesn't seem to be what they're setting up to do. Raptors do a nice job of clearing, finds Peyton Jensen. Jensen, as you said before, Skip, last year playing some forward, scored for the Wildcats. Oh, and Jensen's going to draw the foul there. That's unlucky.
Yeah, it looked like a shoulder play. I don't know if he got his arm up, his elbow up a little bit. It's tough to see on the far side of the field from where we're at.
Foul on the Wildcats. Free pickup coming for Eastridge.
But yeah, it's too bad he couldn't win that ball and keep the pressure down, because we had almost all of our team down in their half of the field. And again, we need to keep it down there. We got to get a goal here. We're just under 22 minutes to play, so there's time, but it's trickling in the wrong direction, and Eastridge isn't in any hurry to do anything at this point.
Johnson with the header. It gets deflected back at him. Burke corrals it. Now it falls for Tran. Tran almost dispossessed, and he is dispossessed, and it goes out for a throw. Eastridge masterfully doing what they can to maintain possession of the ball. Easiest way to play defense is not to let the other team ever touch the ball, and Raptors doing a nice job with that right now. As we indicated earlier in the evening, Raptors are definitely junior and senior heavy, and you would expect juniors and seniors to be able to do exactly what Coach Bidwell wants them to be doing right now, which is being smart with the ball and using that time. Ball comes into Hackenmuller. It gets deflected away. Wildcats definitely need to turn up their intensity here a little bit in terms of creating some sort of offense, as Leonards dances away from a defender. Jensen with it on the far side. Finds Tran. Now Jensen with it again. Johnson. And this is looking a little bit more like the first half, where the Wildcats were able to maintain possession. That ball got just a little slow to Leonards. And as a result, Leonards is going to stay down. And Leonards is going to require just a little bit of attention. I think he's got a cramp, which is going to allow the trainer to come out to take a look at Leonards as you see Prouty come over and try to help stretch him out. Also gives the Raptors an opportunity to get a drink of water on their far side. Wildcats last year, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention at least the Wildcat squad of last year. Last year's team, a great group of seniors, which of course we miss substantially as young men, as players, as students, as the community does. And of course many of them are going away to post-secondary education, either last week, this fall. And that's a great step in the right direction for them and their lives. But at the same time, the high school always misses quality and class individuals. So Leonards is going to be withdrawn here, I think. And I think under the rules he has to be withdrawn so that the Wildcats are going to all run over and get a drink. The Raptors are going to run over and get a drink, and while the clock is stopped. And we'll spend the next just over 20 minutes playing some frenetic soccer. So Leonards has to leave. Let's see. And Nate McKinnon checks in to take Leonards' spot on that back three. It's a very tight and compact back three for the Wildcats. You would imagine that they would do a good job, with things like an offside trap or something like that, given that they're playing so tight together.
Yeah, and they really do need to stay tight and connected, because if they spread out a little bit too much, then you're opening yourself up to passes that split defenders, which is never a good thing from a defensive standpoint. Unfortunately, the turnover here is setting up a great scoring chance for Eastridge, and they capitalize. That was just, unfortunately, too easy. He had all day to line up that shot.
That was a great play that time by the Eastridge, pressuring Walcott. It gets turned over. The ball gets crossed over to the other side, and the defense was slow to react. The defense on the far side was slow to react, leaving Cron again on an island. It's 2-0 now to the Raptors. You certainly fancy their chances here moving into the late part of the game. The Wildcats just have not mounted much in the way of offense in terms of scoring opportunities. But of course, the minute I say that, of course, the Wildcats will probably pull a rabbit out of their hat and do something that I'm not expecting. But in any event, Raptors taking advantage of Wildcat mistakes. And again, it's a relatively young team out there in terms of the Wildcats, and certainly with a new formation, a new coach, and new players on the field, there are going to be those moments where things happen. But it's a bit disappointing that the defense seemed to kind of go to sleep in terms of the back door.
Yeah, now, with less than 20 minutes to play, you really need to see the Wildcats take some chances. I mean, there's no reason to play, defensive style soccer when you're down 2 goals with less than 20 to play. So hopefully that can generate some scoring chances. If they can get a goal, in the next 10 minutes, then that it does something funny to the momentum of the game, and you can turn it around. We've seen it before, but they absolutely need to get it down there and to put one in. Even if it doesn't result in getting back to a tie game, it can do a lot just for the psyche of the team. You feel a little bit better about yourself walking off the field if you don't get a shutout against you.
It's Parker Wellman, the junior attacker from Macuras, with the assist. Nicely done that time by Wellman to finish. Although in fairness, I would certainly hope a quality player would finish with the amount of time he had. But in any event, we've seen stranger things happen. The ball goes out of bounds here, and the East Ridge Raptors will have a throw-in. The Wildcats are going to have to do something unusual or something different here. I almost wonder if you in the last 10 minutes of this game, we have 16 minutes remaining. In the last 15 minutes of this game, you wonder if maybe Coach Butului is going to either change his formation or do something a little bit different, maybe push a couple of extra players up into the forward position. Cron claims that. He's going to put a foot to it and see if the Wildcats can get a nice punt there. Goes out to the midfield. We'll see if Hackenmuller runs it down, finds Johnson. Villaseñor gets to spin, plays ahead for Tran. Tran's going to see what he can do on the far side. He's taking on 2 defenders by himself. He's going to need some help over there in the corner. I think that ball's going to go out of bounds. And, unfortunately, unlucky there for the Wildcats. It's going to go for a goal kick.
Yeah, when you're protecting a 2-goal lead, it's really easy to play conservative soccer. Eastridge doing a great job making sure that they always are numbers up in their defensive third. So whenever the Wildcats do get the ball down there and they're trying to attack, like you said, they're taking on 2 defenders, a first defender, and then there's always a backup there. It's a great position to be in, and they've earned that with their play tonight. Wildcats need to do something to turn this around quickly.
Walcott is going to play that back to Cron. Cron's going to take a touch and send that out to McKinnon. We have not seen Leonard's return. So, hard contact there as McKinnon goes down on the track. It's an Eagan Wildcat throw, but McKinnon certainly paid the price for that. Credit to him for bouncing up. I see McKinnon succeed. His foul there against East Ridge. Foul on Johnson.
And he's going to earn a verbal caution there from head referee. I'm a little surprised that a yellow didn't come out there. That was pretty blatant from behind, and in my opinion, a little bit unnecessary. I think I might have whipped out the yellow card.
McKinnon's pass intercepted. Villaseñor isn't able to claim it. On the far side, Wellman's running down the field. He's got a lot of green grass in front of him. Walcott is going to do a nice job of there coming to the outside. Nicely done there. Walcott is doing what he can to possess that ball. Nicely done by Tyler Walcott, the first-year varsity player. Switching spots for Jensen. Jensen covers the middle while Walcott goes to the outside. The ball does go out of bounds, but if you're a defender, that's fine. Challenge is with a 2-goal lead, with a 2-0 lead, there's just not enough time to spend a lot of time down in your own end. You really have to flip this field. And whether that's with a punt or a long ball or a run or something like that, it's going to have to happen soon. Relatively soft foul there, but I think the foul is easier probably to call from behind. Charlie Burke and Davis Hackenmuller or your two
Foul on the
forwards.
Wildcats. Free kick for the Raptors.
You'd like to see them pressed up against the defenders as deep as they can go. And right now, there are defenders, multiple defenders behind them. Be interesting to ask Coach Boutuli after the game if that's his strategy. But right now, Hackenmuller and Burke, both with multiple defenders behind them. It's a flick on that time by Johnson. Nicely done that time by Cron. He stayed with that the whole time.
Header for the Raptors by Parker Wellman,
Cron
number
with
9.
another big punt,
Save
goes
made
well
by
over the
Michael
halfway
Cron.
line, falls for Hackenmuller, doesn't quite get a possession of it. Wildcats are going to have to start winning every loose ball, Skip Newton.
Yeah, I would like to see them be a little more aggressive in going in the ball. It feels like those loose balls are finding the feet of the Raptors. You know, the momentum is clearly all on their side, and you know, Wildcats might be, you know, playing a little bit less than the way they know they can play, because they know what the score is, and they're just can't seem to recover and get aggressive and stay that way to try and turn this game around.
Ball comes floating in. Cron's going to come off his line and take that ball.
Nice job there by the back line. You see there was nobody closer to the ball than one of our defenders and the goalkeeper, Cron. So a good job there. The defenders kept that attacker away from the net.
Imagine the Wildcats might have to take a few chances here. On the far side as Burke has it. They go by Burke. Now this ball gets served across. It looked like he was in an offside. He was indeed in an offside position.
Eastridge.
Wildcats need to hurry here. Not rush, but they need to move with urgency. McKinnon's going to take this. Send it forward, looking for Hackenmuller. Nicely done by finding Davis. Hackenmuller comes back for Prouty. Prouty's big touch. Gets him down, puts him under a little bit of pressure there. Right now, if you're Eastridge, possession is the name of the game, and the Wildcats need to start moving up and taking a little bit of a chance. They need to start pressing a little bit. But when you press, Skip Newton, you've got to press as a team. You cannot press as one player or two players. You have to press as all 10 or all 11.
And what you just saw there is exactly what we're looking for, right? We forced a really bad pass and a turnover. They give us the throw-in. I'm sure that wasn't what they intended. But, again, we started to put a little pressure on, and we at least one possession here. We try to win it back and do successfully. Nicely done. Let's see if they can keep it down here and get something close and get a shot on. We need to get more shots.
Oh. Well, it wasn't quite a shot on goal. It was a ball in the general direction of the goal, but in any event, it was certainly pressure. Unlucky, like I said, unlucky that we simply, the Wildcats not able to spin it on net.
Substitutions for Eastridge.
I was about to say that the taking water drinks when it's a goal kick is it's amazing that he's getting away with it, but then they substituted, so clearly not a problem. But man, if I'm a center ref, I'm putting a stop to that immediately.
Well, at this point in the game, I think he's had enough water, right? Now again, Eastridge is playing better soccer. They're winning the game, but at the same time, you don't want to see a situation where a team just wastes time follow the rules. You don't want to see any time wasting. I certainly would expect the referee to call that if Michael Cron was doing that on our side. It's a nice little flick there. Did not come off, but it was nicely done that time by Joseph. Check it, that was via Senor. Tran's going to serve this, kind of come forward. That ball's going to go out of bounds. And I think the Raptors are going to be confident, content with that type of play. I think we're going to have another corner, and we are going to have a corner. Here's an opportunity here for the Wildcats.
I think this is where I would have only one defender back, and everybody else I would push up. There's just no reason not to at this point. Down 2.
Hackenmuller's going to stand over. It's going to be an out-swinging right foot. Lands in the penalty area. Nicely done. Dealt with that time by the Raptors. This ball, there's going to be an opportunity here for a break for the Raptors. And Jensen recovers. It was Frith breaking down the sideline. Jensen nicely done to come over and cut off the angle. There's just a tremendous amount. If you Eagan forwards come up. There's a tremendous amount of space down there. That ball gets played away by McKinnon. Sondag's going to be outrun that time by an Eastridge player. Prouty's going to step into it there. Prouty's going to do a nice job. Prouty now has got a lot of green grass in front of him. Prouty leading the break. He's got Hackenmuller. He's got Burke. Hackenmuller now with an opportunity. Prouty continuing the run. Hackenmuller to the inside. He's going to try his luck there. Doesn't work. Falls for Johnson. Johnson has an opportunity. Flicks it towards Burke. Looks for Hackenmuller. Did not come off. Nicely done that time by Walcott. What a heady play to step up and take that ball away. And this ball gets sent well and just into touch. Just less than 9.5 minutes to go here in the game. Score 2-0 to the Raptors. The Raptors content to, as I said, keep this out of bounds, keep it on the edges of the field. Now, I find interesting that Coach Boutali not making any substitutions. I don't think we've had any Eagan substitutions maybe in the last, say, 10 minutes or so. Imagine there's going to be somebody coming on, but at this point, he's rolling with the players he has.
Yeah, probably mindful too that the more you sub, if the clock isn't stopped, then you're wasting precious time that you just don't have. So that could be part of the strategy as well.
McKinnon dispossessed. Walcott cleans that up. Jensen being aggressive. Johnson slides into his spot. Nicely done by Michael Johnson. That's what you like to see out of a captain. And I think we're going to get a foul there, and we are. Jensen's going to draw the foul. Raptors, I'm not sure why Jensen's kicking that ball away. Again, it gives the Raptors an opportunity now to, Villasenor arguing with the center referee about the foul there. But at this point, when you're down by 2 goals with 8 minutes to go, now's not the time to be throwing the ball away, and it's not the time to be arguing with the referee. I think you want to get that ball into play as quickly as you can.
Yeah, we've definitely hit that part where there's some frustration settling in, and we actually talked about this yesterday with Josue, the coach. In the third scrimmage against Blaine on Saturday when the team was down, he felt they got a little tired and started playing emotionally and using emotions to kind of drive their play and make their decisions, and he wanted them to get better at continuing to use your head and to make good, smart soccer plays. And I think we're seeing a little bit of that here, right? Frustration setting in, more fouls, not moving to the balls aggressively is what you would expect. Certainly not what we saw at the beginning of the game.
The free kick, the shot by Zach Mayers out of bounds. Goal kick, Wildcats.
Free kick out of bounds. We're going to have a substitution now. I believe it's Galachin's going to come back in for Villasenor. Cron's going to put this in play. Finds McKinnon. Oh, we weren't done subbing yet, so McKinnon's going to have to send that ball back to Cron. They're going to have to start that whole process again.
Back in the game for the Wildcats, Evan Galenchin, number 4.
Raptors doing a nice job of saying, fine, if you want to play with the ball down there, you can. McKinnon's going to send that ball towards number 12 for the Wildcats, who's Sondag. And you'll have to forgive your commentators that a lot of the boys have new numbers this year, and we've got a fair number of new boys seeing their first varsity action. And from this distance, they sometimes look a little bit alike.
Especially in the dark.
Yes, especially in the dark. Yeah, the lights are on here at Wildcat Stadium, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen. But nonetheless, there's still a fairly hard time seeing things from a distance. And we're going to have, I think, our final substitutions as Kamara is going to come on. And
substitutions for the Wildcats. Back in Miklo Jones, number 19.
Well, Miklo Jones is going to be checking back in. And Tarek Salim is also going to check in. So this will probably be the last substitution for the Wildcats, assuming there are no injuries, given how much time is left here in this game. And I think at this point, regardless of whether you win the game or not, although we have seen last year's Wildcat team did do a couple of times, did step up in the last few seconds or minutes to score. This ball gets hoisted forward for Salim. It's going to be deflected out by the defense. Here it's claimed by Miklo Jones. Finds Sondag, plays it back for McKinnon. McKinnon chips it over the top, but nobody's making a run. Kamara's going to give chase. Kamara gets a hand to it, or a foot to it, then takes out 2 players. Kamara with a little back flip. Back heel flip, I should say. That ball's going to go out of bounds, give the Wildcats a chance. But certainly in the last 5 minutes, a goal would do wonders here for the Wildcats in terms of confidence, regardless of what the ultimate result of the game is going to be. Just played a little bit there. That ball's going to get flipped forward. Nice opportunity. Excellent tackle there by Jensen, but even a better tackle or better job of getting up by the Eastridge player.
Yeah, that was impressive. To go down like that and still maintain possession was really nicely done.
That was Frith. Definitely want to call that out. That's a great individual effort. And again, thank you to all of you who have joined us here on ETV and our crew. Our crew doing a great job here bringing you these sounds and images. Josh Sibley, Greg Borman, Paul Winkles, and Michelle Nielsen. Thanks so much for joining us here. Wildcats looking in the last 4 minutes like they're probably not going to be able to pull this one off. The free kick comes from the half line, floats in around the penalty area, it lands, falls for number 12, falls for Kamara. Kamara's bumped down, but a nice defensive play that time by the Raptors. A bit of excitement, but not really a scoring opportunity. This ball's going to come back for Prouty. Prouty's going to have to do something with it. He's going to have to find somebody, and he finds McKinnon. McKinnon's going to try to dash into the penalty area. He's got some speed. Here's Salim to the outside. He can't quite find anybody, but finds Kamara. Kamara has it dispossessed from him. Ball gets played back by Walcott to Cron. Cron's going to look for Jensen. He does. I'm going to give a shout out to Michael Cron. He's played the entire game, which is more minutes than he played all of last season, and right now he's played some credible keeper minutes here for the Wildcats. Not only are a lot of the defenders new, but of course you've got a new goalie, so we will see Justin Schreiber, the other senior goalie, at some point here. We understand here in the new season. This ball's going to go out of bounds. And again,
yeah, I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised if the other goalkeeper got his chance on Saturday up at St. Michael, and that was what Josue said. He wanted to let both of them have a good opportunity at the start of the season and then just kind of let things play out from there. So we'll see how things go. But, you know, the concern with this game, the way it's played, isn't really the goalkeeper play. I think like you said, he's played a solid game. It's really the lack of goal scoring opportunities, that the pressure that they haven't been able to generate. That's the thing I think that they're going to talk about it at practice tomorrow. It's like, okay, guys, we need to correct some things and figure this out, and hopefully there'll be a turnaround Saturday afternoon.
And a little over 2 minutes here remaining in the second half. Prouty throwing a little bit of weight around. You imagine there might be a little bit of frustration out there of the guys in blue, and it's understandable. Raptors looking like a good team, looking like a solid team with solid defense, some solid athletes. They didn't cash in on very many chances at all. They didn't cash in on any chances in the first half, but they've made their second half chances and tallies really count, as Kamara has an opportunity here. It's going to be played out into touch. And again, the Wildcats have an opportunity here. If they could generate something here late in this second half, they might be able to walk into the season with a goal on the board, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen inside 90 seconds.
Yeah, unfortunately, that cross there was just too close to the keeper and up high, where he's got every opportunity to just jump up and use his hands. It's a pretty easy play, especially when he's not under pressure.
Nice turn by Jensen on the far side. Wildcats playing a little bit of hoofball, and it's obvious why. You're down by 2 goals with now 1 minute to go.
1 minute remaining in the second half. 1 minute.
I'd like to say thank you to all those sponsors. Thank you to everybody here at ETV. Thanks for joining us here on ETV, as Raptors are going to look to wrap up a 2-0 win here at Wildcat Stadium. Again, Wildcats will be back in action on Saturday in St. Michael, Albertville, and we'll see what the Wildcats have for those guys.
So the bad news, of course, is the Wildcats are going to open the season with a loss. Not ideal. The good news is it's the first game. It's not a conference game. And you don't want to be necessarily playing your best soccer in August. You want to be playing your best soccer at the end of September into October. And they have plenty of time to come together. I don't want to say that this is the outcome I expected, because I absolutely expected more pressure. But I think it is a lot of change, and there's it's such a quick turnaround to start the season. So I think what we want to see is improvement from game to game. Fortunately for our viewers, Eagan TV is going to be here for all home games all season long for both girls and boys. So that's going to be outstanding. We'll be with them all the way, and I think they can turn this around. I'm looking for a much better output on Saturday. I think they're going to put a couple goals on the board, hopefully early in that game, to get some momentum.
Well, the Wildcats certainly have to figure out something in the attacking third. They're going to have to generate some goals. You'd think that the defense, despite the fact that it got beaten a couple of times, the defense with a new system, with having 3 at the back, they had some opportunities, and they stood up with most of the pressure that East Ridge put on them. East Ridge is, like I said, as I said before earlier, they are an excellent team. They did very well last year. They expect to do well again this year. And I think the Wildcats, as you say, Skip, they've got an opportunity here to, if they improve consistently, they'll be just fine.
Yeah, I really do think that's going to be the case here. It's not the ideal start, but again, it's August, so plenty of time, even in a short season, to turn things around.
Well, with that, thanks to our ETV crew. Thank you for joining us. Drive safe, everybody. With Skip Newton, I'm Nathan Cron. Thanks, everybody, for watching us here on ETV, and join us the rest of this season. We hope to bring you a lot of exciting Eagan Wildcat boys and girls soccer, and don't forget football, swimming, and all the other sports that are here in the fall. Thanks for joining us here on ETV. Good night, everybody.